Hello, how are you? Today I've put together for you 10 very common mistakes that many people make when using metformin, the well-known medication for controlling blood sugar and managing diabetes. It's possible to avoid these common mistakes and by doing so, improve your body's functioning and ensure that you take the medication more safely. The last mistake is the most dangerous for you. Stay until the end because you won't want to miss it. If you love tips on nutrition, health, and fitness, you're going to love this channel. Go ahead and subscribe. Remember to activate the bell to receive notifications. I have new videos every day. You're going to love them. Let's start discussing in detail some of the biggest mistakes when taking metformin. Tell me, is metformin currently part of your treatment for blood sugar control, diabetes? Do you take any other medication to control your blood sugar? Write down here for me what you do together with your doctor and their prescription to manage your blood sugar. I'd love to see your comment. Before we start, I want to quickly remind you that I have a playlist here on the channel with lots of tips for those living with diabetes or pre-diabetes, lifestyle, nutrition, recipes. I'll leave it down below in the description. The first mistake when taking metformin is to take this medication on an empty stomach. This can cause gastric issues for you and even intestinal problems. Metformin is a medication that often affects the stomach quite a lot. So, many people report that when they start taking it, they feel sick, they feel nauseous. Some even end up vomiting, have diarrhea, and the pill comes out whole in their stool. And then there's the question of whether the medication is being properly absorbed or not, since it's important for blood sugar control. So, of course, you should always follow your doctor's instructions, but what the package insert always suggests is that you take this medication with some food, always with a meal, to minimize these gastric and even intestinal issues. What time do you usually take your metformin? Let me know down below in the comments. Another mistake is when someone forgets that they take metformin and forgets to mention it to the doctor when being prescribed another medication, or even worse, takes medication on their own without knowing whether it interacts with metformin or not. Because metformin can, in fact, interact with some antibiotics, antidepressants, and certain diuretics. So, of course, any medication you take should always be prescribed by your doctor. We shouldn't take medicine on our own, as that can be dangerous for us. And also, always remember to tell your doctor that you take metformin, because since it's a medication that many people take daily for many years, it becomes automatic and you end up forgetting. This is a very important detail. Be careful also with dietary supplements and metformin, as it can interact with some supplements. For example, it is not recommended to take ginkgo biloba together with metformin. So, if you want to use any dietary supplement and are unsure whether you can use it at the same time, always talk to your doctor or your local nutritionist. The problems can always vary depending on the type of medication you are going to use together with metformin, but there are several, like dehydration, and can even lead to more serious issues. I'll explain this to you later. It can be related to hypoglycemia, decreased absorption of the medication. So it's really very important that you know which medication will be used together with metformin to avoid these side effects. The third mistake is relying solely on metformin, thinking that it will be a miracle cure, and that by taking metformin, you won't have to worry about blood sugar or diabetes anymore. We know that it is an excellent complementary medication to help you control your blood sugar, but it won't work miracles, in the sense that if you don't change your eating habits and your lifestyle, you won't be able to control your blood sugar. What I mean is that it's no use taking metformin at the times and in the dose your doctor prescribed if you're also eating a lot of ice cream, lots of bread, rice, potatoes, pasta, soda, and so on. So your diet needs to be balanced, and it's extremely important for you to also have a healthy lifestyle, doing physical activities, because this improves insulin sensitivity, enhances insulin secretion, and helps your body use glucose without needing to use insulin through the muscles. Sleeping well, abstaining from alcohol and cigarettes, maintaining a balanced diet and lifestyle, all of this will help. Metformin helps, but it's not a miracle worker. You have to help metformin help you. The fourth mistake is having an irregular or inadequate dosage of metformin. I mention this because since it's a medication for continuous use, some people sometimes forget to take it. So, create a routine. There are some apps on your phone that you can download to keep track of when you take your medication. You just go there, click the button, and you can even set alarms to remind you to take it every day at the same time. The alarm will go off and you can mark it right there so you won't forget whether you took it or not. Because sometimes we do things so automatically that we don't even remember if we took it or not, and that obviously affects blood sugar control and the continuity of the treatment. But an even bigger problem than this, since forgetting to take the medication tends to happen only occasionally, is people who change the dosage on their own. And I know people who do this. I've had patients who would double the dose when they had a party and wanted to eat sweets or cake. That's not how it works. Metformin is a medication that must be prescribed by a doctor, and its dosage, duration, and monitoring must be managed by the doctor. Never change your medication dosage on your own. This can be dangerous for you. Also, in the same way, never stop taking the medication on your own. There are people who develop diarrhea, people who feel nauseous or experience some side effects related to the use of metformin and decide to stop taking it because it's causing a lot of stomach pain or they can't fit the medication into their routine properly. You should never stop taking the medication on your own because you will lose its effect and lose the help it provides in controlling your blood sugar. So, if you are experiencing a lot of side effects, it's important that you talk to your doctor. There is a version of metformin with a more gradual release, which can minimize these side effects. The dose can be adjusted, it can be split up. So don't stop taking it on your own. That can be dangerous for you. Always talk to your doctor first. Another common mistake is that people start taking metformin and then slack off on their blood tests, which are periodic and should be done by diabetics to check if the medication is working and to monitor for other effects. Because, for example, taking metformin over the medium and long term can change your vitamin B12 levels in the body, which might even require supplementation, and the doctor will also check for this in your blood tests. They will measure your glucose levels, your glycated hemoglobin, how metformin is working in your control, and whether the dose needs to be increased or decreased. Just because you're taking the medication doesn't mean you can stop seeing your doctor regularly, especially to monitor dosage, which is based on your blood tests. Don't neglect this. It's also important that you don't hide from your doctor who prescribed metformin for you any changes in your lifestyle or in your own medication. So if you've gained a lot of weight or lost a lot of weight, this can affect your metformin dosage. If you have developed another health problem and started taking another medication on a regular basis, it's important to tell your doctor as well. So, it's important to stay in contact with your doctor according to the schedule they recommend for you, every 3 months, every 6 months. This will vary from doctor to doctor, from person to person, and depending on individual needs. But it is extremely important that people with diabetes always consult their doctor and also tell them about any changes in lifestyle or body weight so that the doctor can take these into consideration. Be careful also with using expired medication. Since metformin is a medication that you usually take continuously, some people buy several boxes and keep them stored in the cabinet, using them as needed. Try to avoid doing this. At the very least, check the expiration date to make sure there's plenty of time left and you don't risk the medicine expiring. You need to keep track of this, because expired medication may not be effective or it may produce other compounds that are harmful to your health. So it's always important to avoid expired medication. And the last mistake, which is the most important, is taking metformin while consuming excessive amounts of alcohol. Excessive alcohol consumption, together with metformin, can lead to lactic acidosis, which is an overproduction of lactic acid by your body. This can be very harmful and, in more severe cases, can even be fatal. So, it's not that you can't have a beer, a cocktail, or a glass of wine. The problem is with people who overindulge in alcohol and take metformin at the same time. This can be dangerous for you, so please don't do it. Remember that alcohol can interfere with or affect various medications, not just metformin. So if you take medication regularly, it's best to avoid alcohol as much as possible. Abstain as much as you can. And if you do drink, make sure it's in small amounts. Remember, the recommendation is 1 drink per day for women or 2 drinks per day for men, not every day, of course. Let me know down below if you realized you were making any mistakes, if you're going to pay more attention or be more careful, and with which one. I'd love to see your comment. Remember to like the video, it really helps me out, and share it with anyone who would enjoy it or who needs it. Let's work together to spread this positive message. That's what I want for this channel. See you next time. Bye.